Okay.
Hey guys, I'm calling Tracy. When senior seminar time came, I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to do. So as time got closer, time got closer to the day we had to have our ideas ready, I kept thinking of things I had never done, but had always wanted to try. Being an athlete all my life, I had never done many of the things that a lot of other kids experienced growing up, so I looked into some of those things. Music seemed like a good idea because it seemed like something I could pick up relatively quickly, and I thought to myself that since I'm an athlete, experience something to do with music could give me more of an inside world to someone who isn't an athlete. I decided to do the ukulele because one of my friends played it at the time, and he told me he loved it. So within a week, I bought myself a ukulele that I could play to my heart's content. What? There we go. To look at my project, I will talk about the time devotion, consistency, and failure connected with it. Let's begin by talking about the time devotion that was associated with my project. Being an athlete, you would have thought that I would recognize that with the same as sports, learning an instrument also takes time. Having spent a lot of time on each practice session to actually learn something can feel like it's taking forever. Spending time on everything from strumming to learning the notes was what needed to be done to be successful. I realized that if an athlete can't practice for 15 to 20 minutes and get a workout in, then why should a musician be able to? Repetition is also something that you don't want to have to do, but is necessary for success. Playing the same strings over and over can be really boring, but needed to happen for me to get better. While I wasn't happy doing it, I'm sure that my brother and my parents loved hearing me butcher note after note for a few weeks. Now let me talk about the consistency that was required with this project. Practicing consistently can be a lot more difficult than it may seem. Even though I wanted to learn a new instrument, half the time my body just wanted to watch Netflix and do nothing. Pushing through the shows that were calling my name and actually practicing came with reward. The more I would practice, the better I would get. It's funny how that works. No matter how good I may have thought I was, which was pretty amazing, I won't be able to play a song perfectly if I haven't practiced in a day or in a week. Now let's finally look at the failure that came along with this project. As with anything you pick up, there's always going to be some manner of difficulty associated with it. When you're confident enough in your ability, you only mess up or your fingers slip. After a period of time, I didn't even believe my own excuses, so I had to come to accept that I was currently failing at playing the ukulele. When I realized that, I wanted my excuses to actually be excuses. That worked, so I began to practice more. I should have known that being an athlete, that failure was a part of everything. I just thought I was too good to admit it. Now let's talk about my community connection and the research aspects of the project. For my community connection, I went to the middle school and sat in on the music class where Ms. Shigera taught on the smartboard. While I was there, it was an opportunity for me to see how Ms. Shigera, the teacher, taught the kids in a way that they would enjoy as well as learn. I was also able to see what the kids had enjoyed with music and compare it to similar things that I had enjoyed with sports. Now for my research, my essential question was, what can kids learn from music at a young age? I focused on a few main points. One being the impact music had on brain and cognitive development. I learned quite a bit about how music can promote language development and help make faster sound and meaning connections. Another point I focused on in my research was social development from music. When children are put into groups to make a song or something, they work as a team to do so while also contributing their own work to the song. The last piece I researched was on new ways that music allows for kids to express themselves. I found that music helps kids to express themselves because it uses different parts of the brain, including the creative piece when making a new piece of music, or the analytical side when they're reading and interpreting the music. Now I would like to thank Ms. Shigera for letting me go to her classroom, Ms. Gilbert for helping me stay on track, giving me ideas, and keeping the pressure light if I thought it was too much, Ms. Dustin for helping me tweak and make sure everything was ready to go, as well as getting me ready for today's presentation, and Ms. Jakes for letting me interview her and get another perspective of another music teacher. Now in conclusion, I learned 3 valuable lessons that could translate to anywhere in life. With all the time I spent playing the ukulele, I had a ton of fun, and I plan to continue playing and progress my skills. This is something that I'm definitely glad I'm going to take with me as I move on past high school. Not everyone can say they know how to play a musical instrument, including me. But maybe someday in the future, I'll be able to say that too. And now, I will attempt to play something on my ukulele. This will be a run through somewhere over the rainbow, hopefully.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank all of you for coming to my final talk this afternoon. So today I'll be talking to you about the power of youth sports. 45 million. This is the number of kids nationwide who play at least one organized sport. This amount has increased by 3%, or about 1.4 million kids since 2015. This number is only expected to rise. Youth sports are very popular in today's society, and they always have been. So there's a picture of me at a really young age, as you can probably tell, holding a baseball bat. I've played baseball for practically 16, 17 years, and it has taught me a lot. It has helped me make a ton of new friends, and it has helped keep me healthy and active. Because of this, I wanted to incorporate youth sports, but more specifically baseball, into my senior project. So my project can be broken down into 3 components: the research component, the actual project itself, and the takeaway. We'll start with the research. So I focused on the 3 areas in which kids are helped by youth sports, which is cognitively, socially, and physically. So on the screen is a chart in which 2,500 parents were asked various questions about how youth sports have positively impacted their child. So the health benefits were noticed by a total of 88% of parents. The kids' social skills like teamwork and how to make new friends were noticed by 78% of parents. And the cognitive benefits, such as their mental health and academic performance, were noticed by 73% of parents. About half of the parents questioned thought that sports gave their child skills that they could use in high school and college, and half that they can use in their future career. If parents are able to observe their kids being positively impacted by youth sports, then it must mean that youth sports truly serve as a mean in which children can be greatly helped. Now onto my actual project. So for about 3 days a week, for about an hour to an hour and a half, I would go over to the Bow Youth Center and play t-ball with a group of 10 kindergartners. Some didn't know how to play at all, so I had to do some instruction along the way. During my first week of my time there, the kids seemed rather hesitant towards me and towards playing t-ball. But as I began to spend more and more time there, I began interacting and connecting with each kid, which helped them feel more comfortable towards me. One kid even invited me to his pizza party, which I had to respectfully decline. They were really excited to play t-ball. Whenever I showed up, I'd be welcomed with a chorus of cheers and yells. Some of the kids even offered to carry my equipment for me, which you can see is this center picture. I could see that t-ball immediately made kids more happy, which is one of the social benefits of youth sports. They would cheer each other on when one of their friends didn't hit the ball, or if they dropped a ball that was hit to them. They wanted each other to succeed. This experience gave me the first-hand experience of how youth sports fosters social skills, such as communication and teamwork. Let's just say some days they were a lot crazier than other days. Because of their young age, their attention spans are very short. Some days they wanted to play tag or kickball, which I was perfectly okay with. But one day in particular, they were especially crazy and hyper. They even tackled me at one point. So the instructor who was helping me thought that we should cut that day short because they weren't acting the best. So the next day when I showed up, the kids had written me "I'm sorry" notes because of their poor behavior the previous day, which I thought was really cute. I was pretty touched by that. So my takeaway from this project. I took a lot away from my experience. I totally stepped out of my comfort zone by working with kids. I never would have tried this if it wasn't for this project, and I'm really grateful I did because I had such a fun time doing so. If there's one thing you all take away from this project, it's to get involved. Try something new. I tried something new and I loved it. Tell me and I'll forget. Show me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn. Thank you to all who came today. Thank you to Mrs. Dustin for helping me out. Thank you to my mentor, Mrs. Lavaz, for always being there for me. And a special thank you to all the kids who I played t-ball with for making my project a fun one.
Come on. That's really exciting. Yeah. I wanted to every 10 years old. Yeah, just necessary.
Shucks. Private concert.
Good job, Anthony. That was awesome.
Miss Dustin,
You're in the red.
you know, eat on this little break when you were coming. I know because I couldn't get it. Oh, yeah. Because I was really excited to practice. I'm so sorry. I guess not. We couldn't come in for a while because there was other stuff going on in the auditorium, and then the Dustin camp, we had stomach flu.
Oh,
Like, the
yeah.
vomiting.
I'm not gonna.
Like, I had a lot of people on our team who went through that.
Yeah, Miss Crazy Christmas, her kids were throwing up on Christmas. It was really sad and I cried. So, that's on video. Yeah, so that's why we didn't.
No, no, I thought you called for like consistency. After that 1 year. Nice job, Anthony.